Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I am your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, a Joe.
Boy, I love some coffee.
But do you love some comics?
With my coffee, yes.
You like dunk them in like little biscottis?
Oh, biscotti.
Oh no, what have I done? Your mind's gonna be in another stratosphere for the next hour.
Man, it's been a while since I had one of those.
They're good cookies, but not very good comics.
Maybe we could make a biscotti comic.
Would it be like superhero like kind of comic, or would it be something that will we go to like Image and make it like a different thing?
Definitely something different. Well, I don't know. Definitely like slice of life comic.
Ah, okay. Anyway, hello
We
everyone.
we copyrighted the idea, so guys,
Yeah,
don't steal it. We'll
don't
sue you.
don't even try it. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Cup of Joe. We are here, week 16, episode 16.2. It is the comics episode for this week, and this week a bit of a slow week. But don't you fret and don't you leave. Please don't leave, because after we discuss there's only two new comics that we want to discuss involving Future State this week. And we'll get to those very shortly. But then, after that, we are going to be guessing the plot to yet another Future State book. I'm not joking. And at the end, we are going to be ranking and not reviewing, because we've already reviewed all of them, but ranking all of the Future State titles that we have read up to this point. It is a little bit beyond the halfway point of Future State, but I figured, before everything really wraps up, let's just get in there, see how we're feeling about everything, and then see if at the end of all this that all changes at all. I said all approximately 300 times in that run-on sentence there. Anyway,
That's all right.
Jesus Christ, stop it!
All right, we're good.
That's horrifying. That is. Oh, I didn't like having any of that in my ear holes. All right, I'm going to be starting off. I'm going to be starting off with the Swamp Thing Future State issue number 2. This is the final issue of Swamp Thing. It was the first book in the Future State series I read, and also I believe I reviewed on the podcast. If someone goes back and confirms that, great. If not, it doesn't matter. Who cares? So, continuing the story from issue 1, Swamp Thing has created other Swamp Thing beings, and he's gone off to try and find humans. And he really wants to find humans, even though all the Swamp Thing people he's created don't really get it. At the end of issue 1, he finds a human. They set off on a little adventure, and you also learn that the Floronic Man, one of Swamp Thing's like big enemies, is working with some other sector of humans doing something sinister. So this issue picks up pretty much where that is, Swamp Thing traveling with the humans to this facility, and you find out in the facility there is Obsidian, who is like an older timey superhero. Joe, I'm assuming you have no idea who Obsidian is.
No clue. It sounds like somebody from Steven Universe.
It is not, nor does it really matter, so I'm not going to bother explaining him. Anyway, Floronic Man is in there, and he's in a wheelchair because he's like all old and decrepit because it's Future State, so it's the year like 3047. The timeline in these books, I love how much of a goddamn mystery it is when it really shouldn't be. They released a timeline, and everyone is still sort of like, what is happening? Because all the books are just coming out at the same time, and everything is just wibbly wobbly, and it's what the hell. But anyway, I'm not going to go play by play through this book because really nothing that exciting happens. Floronic Man has a plot to black out the sun with obsidian because apparently he can do that. I don't fucking know. And Swamp Thing comes along, and instead of them punching for a bit, Flor McMahon is just like, just kill me, and so he does. And you find out later on that Swamp Thing is kind of the reason that there are no more humans around because he kind of went apeshit on them, and you're like, what? But don't worry thinking about that because the book doesn't either. And then Swamp Thing and then Swamp Thing kills all of his other Swamp Thing creations because it turns out they're all just aspects of his personality. Like the innocent child is his innocence, and the ambitious woman is his ambition, and the asshole is his doubt. Go figure. And he kills all of them because he says, I'm paraphrasing here. This is essentially what he says. He's just like, I want to find the humans and make them, thrive because humans have soul, thus they have the potential to grow and change. Unlike these sons of bitches that I made out of myself that are just aspects and have no soul, so they're all going to be stagnant aspects and not actually grow or change or be interesting at all. So he murks all of them and then becomes a massive tree that all the humans live in, and that's the end of the Swamp Thing book.
Is that tree go? Is that like the reference to Immortal Wonder Woman?
Joe, I thought about that, but they don't touch on it, so I'm not going to either.
It sounds like this
it's
book is very woke.
it's very something. I don't really know. It's the art is fine. It still has those great panels every couple of pages that are the anatomy of Swamp Thing and his children that he's created, and it shows again how like in this book I believe it shows like a hand skeleton, and he describes how he uses different plant building materials to comprise skeleton and muscle fiber and things of that sort, as well as like an epidermis on a different panel, and then on another panel you get like an entire shot of a body without like an epidermis or muscle on it, so it's just a skeleton and like some organs and stuff like that, and it's all line drawing of like green vegetation and stuff. You're like, these pages look really cool. The rest of the book looks fine, like 5, 6 out of 10 art sort of a thing. But those anatomy pages are really solid, and the story, again, a lot of Future State is hindered by the fact that it kind of got nerfed from a year-long event to a 2-month initiative, but it's really nothing. Like there's no lasting stakes because of course nothing from Future State is really gonna have any lasting stakes. It's just sort of like, hey, if you like Swamp Thing, this might be kind of neat. But other than that, yeah, it's just kind of meh. And so like overall, I just say it's if you like Swamp Thing, pick it up, I guess. No, I'm gonna retract that. If you really like Swamp Thing, go ahead and pick it up. If you just kind of like Swamp Thing and you're looking for stuff to read on him, read other stuff. There's better stuff to read about Swamp Thing. Don't read Future State.
Yeah, it seems like that's the big struggle with these future state books. It's just a lack of time, or I guess issues committed to them. Like there's only so much you can do, um, and I don't know. It's gonna be interesting if there. I'm assuming there isn't, but do you think there's any chance that there's gonna be any carryover from these books? Like maybe if one does really well, maybe it gets its own little series. Do you think there's any chance of that?
Yes, and it's going to be
Ooh.
the book that we're talking about next because it's already been confirmed that Yara Flor is going to be in Infinite Frontier, which is the next wave after Future State.
That is awesome. So, all right, let's get into this Wonder Woman book.
Perfect segue. Yes,
This
so
art is amazing. I think it got better in the second book.
it really did. It's so very good. I love it so much. Joelle
But
Jones, just God bless. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, art is it's absolutely great. The designs, the way the character designs are awesome. The Persephone design. Oh, oh my.
It was very,
Oh,
very cool.
oh my. Amazing. Amazing. I loved it.
And the Hades design, I liked it a lot when he was first introduced, um, because she falls through the crack of the underworld or whatever that the scythe dude he just scythe dude. I'm sure it's as a character somewhere that actually has some sort of name or nomenclature or whatever, but I'm just gonna call him scythe dude. And so he cracks the earth, and Yara Flor falls into it, and then you see Hades, and he's all covered in smoke, and he looks awesome. And then the smoke goes away, and he's kind of just like a guy, and you're like, okay, this is still kind of fine, but I kind of liked it with the smoke. Could you please bring the smoke back, please? Thank you. Okay. Mwah. Um, yeah, I like him with the smoke better.
Yeah, I agree, and I noticed that as well. There is one scene when, Yara, I guess, completes the mission and he gets all mad and he's got this red outline around him. That and
Oh
and his eyes
yeah.
are all red. That one was really cool. So the Hades design, pretty cool, but there's like two separate ones of it, and definitely the smoky, the smoky-eyed Hades is much cooler.
Yes, definitely. What did you think about? Again, if you couldn't tell, we're talking plot detail. So if you want to not be spoilers, what did you think of Yara Flor failing?
So this story was I thought the story was just okay. Like I thought it was going to be a little bit more exciting, but the story kind of disappointed me. I was more captivated by the art and the design, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's like she's rescuing her friend, or maybe more than friends. Wink, wink. I don't know. Um, and yeah, it was like this story's like, oh, she accomplished. Oh, wait, she didn't. And I was like,
Wah
oh.
wah.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, that was fun. And then at the end, she's just like, whatever. My horsey's here. And I'm like, what?
Yes, yes, yeah, yes. That is the biggest problem I have with this issue. I'm very similar to you, where I'm like, yes, art, great, good. It's mwah, still fantastic. The story, however, was kind of like, what? I can definitely see though, like this. It's so easy, like with the knowledge, it's so easy to tell that this book was like short ended and it was like condensed, and then they had to just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna take these, and I'm just gonna fucking cram it together into this story real quick, because it's essentially a backdoor pilot for Yara Flor. Like these first two issues, it's like if you want to know who she is, you get these two issues, and then you're in. You're ready for when she inevitably arrives in the main DC universe or like standard continuity or whatever. Um, but yeah, so she goes in to get her friend or possibly lover. I don't know. It's a little ambiguous, which is fine because it's not like I don't know, it's just fine the way it is. And she rescues her from the gray fields of sorrows or whatever the hell it is, and then she brings her. She's running through the caves of the underworld, and she kicks out like the supports of the cave, and it comes crumbling down and like crushes her friend that she was trying to rescue. Uh, uh, Potira. That's the friend's name. Potira, right? Yeah, Potira. And Potira's just like, this is I'm meant to be here, so you go on. And then Yara's like, bitch, no, I came here to rescue you. I'm gonna rescue you. And she's just like, nah, you can't. It's like it's fate. I gotta stay here, man. And she's like, no, and he gets like pulled out of the underworld by her fellow Amazons, which I liked that we saw the other Amazons. I like how they're all like they're color coordinated, where like all their armor is also gold, and they have like the same like navy blue and red sort of color scheme going on. I'm like, branding. Um, but other than that, it was like a really sad note. And then Jerry comes in and is just like, hey, but happy ending.
Yeah, what? It's yeah. I have barely any notes for this thing because the art was great, but the story didn't really do it for me. And the little ending where it says only the beginning on the last page of the book, I made a note like, oh, we get more question mark. But the fact that you said it's been confirmed that we are getting more makes a lot more sense as to why this book story was not important at all.
It's really not. It's very much okay. This is the origin, and now that we got that out of the way, she's going to be coming into the main line of books. So there you go.
Yeah, it was all right. I'm still happy I picked it up though.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think picking. I mean, it's cool to have kind of like the origins of this character. I'm interested to see where she goes from here. And I think I'd recommend picking this book up again on the art alone. It's just fantastic. And the story isn't bad. It's just a little like the first issue was just so
Lackluster.
great.
It's
Yeah,
lackluster.
exactly. It's just a little, but it's going from like a 8 out of 10 story to like a 7 or 6 out of 10 story sort of thing. But again, it's just the beginning, so we shall see where Yara Flor ends up in the future. But moving on from that, Joe, we are about to. Hang on, I gotta plug in my laptop here. Okay, that should be good. We are about to journey into uncharted waters with a new segment I'm going to call. Give me a second. I gotta think of a name here, real quick. I gotta think of the name of the segment. I'm definitely not just stalling for time as I try to think of a name for this segment. Um, Imaginative story guessing.
See, I was gonna call it "What the next Batman does next." I'm
That's
not gonna cough
good for
again.
now. Okay, that's good for now. But if we ever do this in the future, I want this to be like a reoccurring bit where it's like any books that we drop or that we have heard of that we might want to talk about, we just try and guess it, and then we'll come back next week and see how close we are. But so yeah, let's just call it. For right now, let's just call it "What's the next Batman gonna do next?" And then we'll just switch it to whatever
We'll
I said.
retcon it.
We'll retcon exactly. We'll crisis. We'll crisis it. So, Joe, I think how I want to do this, so we're both equally engaged,
Oh
and
boy.
everyone at home, I want you to keep in mind we did not discuss this at all previous to recording
We have not
this
looked up
episode right now.
anything about the next Batman #3 either.
Nope. All we know is what we know from other books and the previous 2 issues. So, Joe, the way I want to do this, I want us to do like we're gonna popcorn it like back and forth, and I want it to be like we each say like 1 or 2 sentences, and the next person has to continue on from where that person leaves off.
Okay.
Who do you want me to start first, or do you want to start first?
No, I'll start first because I actually know how the other one ended.
Right. Good point. Good. Nice.
um, the next Batman grabs the 2 parents that murdered the pedophile and runs away with them as the peacekeepers chase them.
Okay. So then, as the next Batman is running through Gotham City and the peacekeepers are chasing him, he realizes he's gotta lose these assholes who are chasing him. So he turns the corner and runs into.
Oh boy, it's my turn.
Now it's your turn.
He runs into a police officer and he's like, "Hey, take these sons of bitches. They just killed somebody."
Just hands them off to the police. It was a really weird decision for the writer to do that, because it's like he's Batman. I thought he would do something himself, but I guess I'm not one to judge. But so after he hands off the killers to the police officer, he then grapple guns. Wait, does the next Batman have a grapple gun?
You bet he does.
Oh, okay, sweet. So then he grapple guns away onto the rooftops to avoid any collateral damage, And so he begins fighting the peacekeepers on the rooftops.
The peacekeepers are using some form of ODM gear and are flying around chasing the next Batman. And they're like, "We're gonna kill you!"
And the next Batman, he don't really like no killing that much. It's kind of like a staple of Batman. It's like when you put on the bat cowl, you're just overcome with a sense of not wanting to kill. And so he and the peacekeepers are, they're flying about in the air as you do, punching for a bit. And in between the punching, the peacekeepers are saying, "I know what you did." And to which the next Batman responds, "I don't know what you're talking about," in the very cliche fashion. Again, I don't know what that writer's doing. It's very simple.
And as they're fighting, one of the Peacekeeper's ODM gear breaks and he starts to fall. And the next Batman has to decide, oh crap, I have to save him, don't I? And the next Batman
Yeah.
decides to risk his life and try and save the Peacekeeper.
And so he swings on down and he rescues the fallen peacekeeper, and they land safely on the ground. And in doing so, of course, he damned himself, and he's now surrounded by the peacekeeper units and the extra robot things that they got going on from the magistrate. And that is where issue 3 ends.
Beautiful.
So, if you have read the book and you know what happens, shut up. We'll be back next week to talk about how close we were. I think we were pretty close to what actually happened in issue 3.
Joe, we're definitely nowhere near. The only thing I was trying to think of is based off the cover, because I saw what the cover looked like, and the cover is next Batman fighting the Peacekeepers, and that's it. And I was like, okay. I'm like, let me see what I can conjure up there.
So we've probably at least got something kind of right. Maybe.
Watch
I'm
it just be
excited to
like
see
a
how this
whole.
ends.
It's gonna be like an origin story, like flashback.
Yeah, that's gonna be the flashback issue, and we've just completely ballsed it up. All right, but so with that out of the way, and be sure to come back next week because we're gonna be. Well, we'll see how close we were probably. But now, future state rankings, Joe. Um, from what I remember, you say you don't have a list. So do you want me to go through my list and then you'll like make a list? You'll be like, I think differently on this, and then we'll compare and contrast that way.
Yeah, that was my plan.
Okay. So my future state ranking list. This is going in order from like worst to best. So starting at the worst, Green Lantern issue 1.
Oh yeah.
That's real fucking low. Then right above that, Swamp Thing. That's going to be issues 1 and 2. That's completed. That's done. That's probably not going to change from its spot unless something else, gets worse, or unless Green Lantern all of a sudden gets way better or whatever. Next, Immortal Wonder Woman. After that, Justice League. And I'm kind of combining the books a little bit, where it's like Immortal Wonder Woman has that story and the Nubia story, and then Justice League has Justice League and Justice League Dark. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. After Justice League is Teen Titans. That's in 4th place. Then in 3rd place, I have Dark Detective. 2nd place, I have Nightwing. And in 1st place, I have a Wonder Woman Yara Flor.
Wow, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, last place for me, definitely Green Lantern.
Right.
And then I'd put the next Batman right above that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd put Justice League above that. And then I'd put Immortal Wonder Woman above that. Um, and then I would put, so we're down to Nightwing, Yara Flor, Dark Detective, and Teen Titans. All the good ones.
Yes. Yeah, we had the same top 4.
I am going to put, oh boy, I'm going to put Nightwing next.
Okay.
And then, Dark Detective.
Oh, okay.
And then Yara, and then Teen Titans #1.
Yeah, I saw that coming. I can see that coming from a mile away.
So not too different.
Not insanely different. No, we have again same thing for Green Lantern. We have different books for number seven. That's because we read different titles. I read Swamp Thing. You read Next Batman. We flipped our five and six position with
Hmm.
Immortal Wonder Woman and Justice League, um, and then our top four is shuffled a little bit. But it's still this like the top four for me are honestly all really close. Like I could probably flip flop Nightwing and Dark Detective, and then Wonder Woman with either. Honestly, the top three for me are could probably be switched around any which way, but this is just how I felt about them at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. The top four are definitely good. Like they're all really enjoyable, and the the distance between number one and Green Lantern. Oh boy.
It's like if you had a scale and it was instead of because these are just eight books for us, but if you had it like 50th place and then first place, I shunt Green Lantern down to 50th place.
Yeah, that book was bad, real
It was
bad.
very bad. But apparently, I don't know. I don't believe this is a different book. But next week, the Green Lantern book is written by Robert Venditti, who's one of the writers of the Green Lantern saga that I love. So I'm like my hope has risen a little bit for that book if it's the same thing that I'm thinking of here. But I am curious to pick. Like I was gonna pick it up regardless, just to shit on it and see if it was still terrible. But now I'm kind of like, wait, I might actually enjoy this. So I'm curious to see what Green Lantern's gonna look like. Do I pick that up next week or the week after? I don't remember, but soon.
The optimism is so cute, Joe.
We'll see. We'll see. I need this, Joe. I'd like Green. I haven't read new Green Lantern material since when did Grant Morrison take over? Crap. Like 2 years at least. So it's been a while.
Well, next week, or I guess this week, coming out tomorrow, actually. Well, actually, wait a minute. We're getting the days all mixed up. Okay, we need
At the time
continuity.
of recording
At the
this.
time of recording, tomorrow, we got some
Coming
comics we're gonna get.
Tuesday. Yes.
We got Dark Detective number three, which, based off the cover, it looks like the next Batman's in it. So interesting. Um,
Hmm.
we got Future State Justice League number two, which I'm not too excited about, but Joe convinced me, there's only two of them. The first one was okay. Why not just get it? All right, fine, whatever, whatever. It's $6, but whatever. But the most important thing ever in the history of the world comes out tomorrow, and that is Future State Teen Titans number two, specifically the cardstock variant with a complete full torso up shot of Red X. And oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a beautiful piece of wall art, something to give your wife, Valentine's Day's coming up, ladies, give it to yo man. I think you know what you're gonna have to buy. You're gonna have to buy this comic, and you got to frame the shit out of this. Make a goddamn shrine, because this thing. Oh boy, man! Put Picasso in the corner, motherfucker. This shit's gorgeous.
Oh my god. That was beautiful. And it works because it's red X, so it's like Valentine's Day, and it's red, and the X is like over his chest, and it's like his heart. Oh my god, that's so good. That's too good. Joe, how many issues of that book did you order again?
So, this is what I'm doing. I I had the one coming in at BNW, and
Uh
that's
huh.
gonna be the Red X cover, and that one's going to be framed. Like I'll put it up how you showed me how to put it up with the thumbtacks and everything, but I actually want to get a frame for it and put it up because I think it's awesome. And then I'm gonna get one of the normal cover, and that's the one I'm gonna read. And technically, I had contacted my guy back at home to order me one, but that was when I had the idea that I was actually going to be home during this time, and now I'm in an apartment. It's a
Right,
whole
yeah.
side story, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I also don't know if he ordered it because he told me to follow up with him. I don't know. Either way, there will be at least two copies. Um, and who knows? Maybe I'll just buy all of them and just give them as Christmas presents.
Yeah, just everyone else, just whoever in your family. Here, have issue 2 of this comic from a line that doesn't matter.
Your grandma's gonna love it.
Grandma's gonna open it and be like, "Oh, what the fuck is this, Joey?"
Uh,
I'm assuming your grandma's cool and curses like that.
kind of, maybe. Oh boy.
All right.
Well,
Any
is there anything else that you were gonna pick up next week besides this thing?
uh I'd have to look at a comic list right now, and I'm not gonna do that. That's just gonna be me scrolling through like 100 comics, just being like, no, 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 yeah, maybe, no, no, no. So I'm picking up basically the same things that you are. The only other books that I pick up only come out once a month. Who would have thunk it? But it's I'm pretty sure I don't have anything else major coming out next week. If I do, you'll hear about it in week 17. So stay tuned for that. Um, and I don't think we have anything else that we need to be saying here, right? You have anything else to add, Joe?
I'm just it's gonna be a hard time sleeping tonight thinking about that comic.
I'm gonna be
Oh
thinking about that
yeah.
Valentine's Day analogy that you've been that you just put into my head. All right. So with that, we're gonna love you. We're gonna leave you. Remember to like, comment, give us a subscribe, and that shall be it from us, everybody. Goodbye.